We're not having the intro music this weekend, but looks great. Hello, welcome to Four's a Crowd, the comedy panel show where our teams fight it out each week to be the winner and get to return. The losers get to go home. Lockdown has been extended again for another 3 weeks. That means beards are getting longer, bellies are getting larger, and of course, keeping in with the lockdown tradition, I've got a shirt on my top half, but don't panic, my pajama bottoms are on my bottom half. So, introduce the captains again for this week's show. First up, we've got the fantastic Chris Choppin. How are we, Chris?
You, Drew?
Chris Choppin, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you, Drew?
I'm good, thank you. Very good. Our returning champion captain. How's it feel being the winner from last week? Winner,
Yeah.
well, even turning up.
Always feels good to be a winner, but especially when you have to put in so little effort.
What happened? Where were you? We were all sort of waiting for you and you just didn't show.
Yeah, what it is, you can see I've got my earbuds in. I couldn't find them last week, and obviously that's the big trend. I've seen all the celebrities doing their streaming with their earbuds here. These aren't even plugged into anything.
Exactly, that's the way to do it.
If all the celebrities are doing it, I'm not being left out, so I didn't want to come on without my earbuds.
That's absolutely fine. And as we said last week, our winning team gets to bring their guests back with them. So I want to introduce your guests, Chris.
Yeah, my guests this week, I've got two guests. They are the 5th and 6th ranked Pokemon Go players in the entire Lower Afford area of Swansea. It's Stefan and Eleanor Allen.
Hello. How are you? Welcome back. Our actual returning champions. How have you been this week?
Good. Can I just say I am furious that I have been demoted from captain after my hard work.
Well, Eleanor, I think that's an absolutely valid point and a good. Thank you for calling me up on it. Never be afraid to call the host up on his mistakes. Captain Eleanor, how are we? Have you had a good week?
Fantastic. Thank you. It was Steph's birthday this week and he is just about over the hangover. So.
Oh, happy birthday, Stefan. 30, 35?
I am 35. Spot on.
It's a nice age to be. It's a nice age to be. Believe it or not, people watching at home, I am the youngest person sat currently at this computer screen, despite how things look. I'm not going to say winning's gone to your head, guys, but you've definitely glamorized yourselves up a little bit more this week. Do you think everything now, how you sort of dress up, is have an effect on the show this evening?
I think now that we know how weak the competition is, we're planning to host.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I think that's a perfect segue to bring in the competition. Our second team captain this week, of course, as always, is Simon Emanuel. Simon, how are we?
I'm wonderful, Drew. Thank you. I'll kill you, Steph. I'm wonderful, Drew. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How is lockdown treating you at the moment?
All right, mate. I had a bit of an argument with my neighbour earlier, though. I was trying to be courteous and it went wrong. I saw him outside and I said afternoon to him. And when I came inside, I realised it was actually 12 o'clock dead on. So then I had to go back round his house and knock his door until he answered just to say noon to him because I didn't want him thinking I couldn't tell the time. Bonkers.
Lockdown does do strange people to you. So, as always, like we said, the losing team brings a new guest to return and try and take the crown from the opposing team. Who will go with you this week, Simon?
I have got one of my friends that has been one of my best mates for 18 years. He's got a fantastic knowledge of music and all things sort of general knowledge, which is why I bought him. It is the one and only, the Pedgetarian. It's Stefan Pedgic.
Hello. Hello there,
Stefan.
everyone. It's
Thank
so
you for
lovely to
joining
be here.
us.
Well, it's lovely to be anywhere right now, I'll be honest. But thank you. It's great to be here.
So, and same again, Steph, you've glammed up for the occasion. You put on a hat just for the show.
I have put on a hat. I'll be honest, I'm golden. Thanks for pointing that out. Just a little thing that I discovered, that I had to change religions. I'm Jewish now as well. It's terrible. It's been a weird week. It's been a strange week.
So Stefan has got his performance-enhancing hat, and our other Stefan has got his performance-enhancing wife to help him. Okay, so enough of the fighting talk. Let's get on with the show. Round one, as always, is absolutely buzzing. Point-building round. You buzz in with your chosen word for your buzzer and answer the questions in quick-fire fashion. Simon, what's your team's word this week?
Our word this week is bitch.
Pretty audible. I think we get okay with that one. And Chris, what's your team's word?
Well, I thought, as we're trying to praise the NHS as much as we can lately, and Aaron Bevan was the architect of the NHS, and he's from here in Wales, I'd go with Bevan.
Okay. So we've got 2 words sounding like bits that could easily be sort of confused with one another. That's a great start of the show. Okay, question 1 for round 1. Absolutely buzzing. 1 point per question. Question 1. What is the Angel of the North?
Yes!
Simon?
It is a statue just outside Newcastle.
Yeah, except that. Somebody will probably comment now telling us it's completely nowhere near Newcastle. It's Gateshead or something like that, but that is correct. We got a point for that. Question 2. What is the capital of Luxembourg?
Bevan.
Stefan.
I think it is Luxembourg. I think it's
It is Luxembourg. Well done. 1-1 so far. Question 3. On Earth, there are 35,000 species of which animal?
Yes!
Simon.
Spiders.
It is spiders. Well done. Very
Well done,
good. Referenced in a Ricky Gervais stand-up special, I think. Question 4. If you were to meet Nigel Farage, would you go for a pint with him or throw a milkshake at him?
Bevan.
Yes!
Stefan.
Well, me, I retract my statement. The other Stefan.
It was the other Stefan. Sorry, it's non-hat wearing Stefan. Stefan?
Full milkshake.
Throw him. That is the correct answer. That is what you would do if you met Nigel Farage. Question 5. Open up my question. Who manufactures the car brand Tesla?
Yes!
Simon.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, correct. Well done. And our final question this round. Which Olympic sport are you not allowed to have a beard?
Yes!
Simon?
Swimming.
No. Pass it over to Stefan and Chris. Any guesses?
I'm wondering.
Shot put.
Oh,
I'm going to get stuck in your beard. What is that like?
yeah,
Like one
Think of it as protection. Think of it as protection, Chris.
Protection. Oh,
Protection, yeah. Boxing, it is boxing. Well done. I'll give you that.
good
So
knowledge.
at the end of round 1, I think I've got this correct. Our team stand at a tie of 3 points each.
Hey, I'm happy about it. No one else seems to be happy about that. I'm just nice to be involved in something. I've been bored.
We need to get some people at home to clap in the background for us because it's anticlimax. You know, just going there. It's just dead silence. It's not really what we're looking for. Okay, moving on to round 2. This round of direct questions that you no need to buzz in. It's our question round for round 2. It's called Daddy or Donald. Some quotes by 2 very famous characters. We've got Daddy Pig from Peppa Pig and Donald Trump. One is a bloated, moronic cartoon character. The other one is Daddy Pig. Okay, so question 1, or quote 1. It's not been easy for me. I've had it hard all my life. I started out in Brooklyn, and my father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
Oh, that's Daddy Pig, surely.
Chris, you think it's Daddy Pig?
He's
Not
always
Daddy Pig, unfortunately. That was Donald Trump. Quote 2. Oink, oink.
That's all.
Oh, it's got to be Trump, isn't it?
Because Donald Trump would say quack, wouldn't he? It's a different one.
He would say quack. No, unfortunately, that was Daddy Pig. Quote 3 for Stefan and Chris. Global warming was invented by the Chinese.
That's Trump.
Trump, that was Trump. Point for Chris. And Simon.
The latest science in terms of global warming.
Question 4 for Simon and Stefan. It's snowing in New York. We need more global warming.
That's Daddy Pig, guys.
It's got to be Daddy Pig.
No.
It's got to. I saw that episode.
I seen on News Live.
What
It was
happened
him
in
with
the episode,
Greta
Simon?
Hinchberg, Stephen Merchant looked like one, and the Pope.
Unfortunately, that was actually Donald Trump.
Oh, behave.
Question 5, our final one for Stefan and Chris. It's easy when you're a celebrity. You can do whatever you want. You can even grab them by the blank.
That's Donald Trump.
No, that was Daddy Pig.
It was Daddy
We've
Pig.
said that at some point as well, but that example was said by Daddy Pig. No, it's nice.
That was a really upsetting episode. I didn't like that one.
Bringing home the bacon.
So our scores after round 2, Daddy or Donald, are Simon and Stefan with 3, Chris and Stefan and Eleanor with 4.
Yay!
It's close. It's close.
I decided not to cheer this time. I was clapping for the NHS. That's more important. I'm dyslexic, unfortunately, but all I know is now HMV have some lovely new breathing apparatus off me. I'm still here.
Okay, round 3 this week is It's My Life. I'll read out a story from one of our guests this week. The team I email has to guess, is it one of the opposing teammates or is it a red herring and actually me? Simon and Stefan, you can go first as you're currently bringing up the rear. Our story this week, is it Stefan, Eleanor, Chris or myself? During the lockdown, I decided to take part in a Zoom group chat with my friends. We haven't been out to the pub for a while, so we decided to have food drinks. I didn't want to disturb my wife at home in the house, so I made a huge pint of rum and coke. I drank it far too quickly and fell asleep. The remainder of the chat was my 3 friends talking with me sleeping in the background. Okay, it's an interesting story. It's a funny story, but is it Stefan, Chris, or myself?
I know the answer to this 100% because I also follow this person's video diary on Facebook, and it was mentioned by their partner in that.
Did it surprise you? Is this something you think this person would do?
I don't know. I've not spent enough time drinking alcohol with this person. I think if someone's fallen asleep 9 times in a row and something like that happens, you think fair enough. But if you've never drunk with a person, it's difficult to judge. Steph, who do you think it is?
Well, I don't follow anyone despite the court orders, and I've put together my own kind of conclusion that you would be the one that makes more sense with the final answer.
What, me?
Do you think it's Simon?
I think it's you, because let's be honest, whatever he says goes, because Simon says put your hands on your head, you've got to put your hands on your head. You're going to do it.
I'm going to answer for us, Steph, because I know who this is. This is Chris Choppin.
It is Chris Choppin. 2 points for Simon and Stefan. Okay, second story of the evening. 2 points for a correct answer. 1 minus point for an incorrect answer. Stefan, Chris, and Eleanor, this one is for you. Was working on a BBC Two drama. I was working on BBC Two drama. David Suchet was also taking part, and his stunt double was unable to make the episode. I was asked, could I see what David Suchet's character looked like in the show, and it was an exact, dead cert resemblance of my dad. I got in touch with my dad, asked him to come along. He was over the moon. He said, who's David Suchet? I said, Poirot. He said, oh, brilliant. He came and shaved all his beard off and did his moustache just like Poirot, even though that looked nothing like the character David Suchet was playing in the drama. Wardrobe went absolutely ballistic on him and had to make him a new beard just for the show. So it's a funny story. It's a true story, but is it myself, Stefan, or Simon?
Well, this is amazing. What a story.
I mean, I know that Steph and Eleanor have worked as extras before, so I think it's both of them. I'm kidding, of course. I think I've met Simon's dad. And
does he look like David Suchet?
No.
Okay.
But then he had no facial hair at the time. But like maybe he did have it at different points. He seemed like a bit of a character.
Okay.
I know that Stefan's done a lot of acting in his time, so he seems to me like the most likely to have been on a film set with David Suchet. But what do you guys think?
I also think Steph looks the most like David Suchet, or somebody who could be descended from someone who looks like David Suchet.
Yeah, so like 50% like David Suchet with his mom, a bit of his mom mixed in.
I look more like Sushi, let's be honest.
Even though I've never met Drew's father, I strongly believe that everyone from the Valleys looks like a rugby player.
Yes.
Well,
no, I agree.
Well, hold on. My dad just recently retired from the fire service and enjoys sort of making sausages in his garage. Couldn't he be in a BBC Two drama with David Suchet?
Hang on, has David Suchet
player aesthetic?
Has David Suchet ever played a rugby player?
I'm not sure. Possibly in a Gareth Thomas biography that's coming out shortly. Okay, Chris, a final answer. Who do you think it is?
I'm going to go with Stefan Pedrick.
It is Stefan Pedrick.
It was my old man. God bless him.
Guys, we're on fire this week again. We're nailing everything. Okay, our scores after round 3 are Simon and Stefan 5, Stefan, Eleanor, and Chris 6.
Oh, it's close. We can do this, Pedge.
Hey, I tell you what, he's got an extra F as well. I'll have that.
Okay, moving on to round 4. This round is called Tales from Wales. It's called that because I'm going to milk everything I possibly can out of that coin phrase I came up with a couple of years ago. Because it rhymes and I like it. Why not? For this round, I have accessed the most reputable and reliable and renowned, sort of highly regarded, critically acclaimed news source in Wales, Wales Online. I've delved into their archives over the past few years and I found some interesting stories, but are they true stories? Simon and Stefan, because you're bringing up the rear, the first story is for you.
Okay.
I'll read the story out and then you have a discussion about between yourselves. Do you think it's true or not? Just the headline, so we're going to go with asbestos-powered super tarantula on the loose in Cardiff.
Okay.
Asbestos super
Powered
tarantula.
super tarantula on the loose in Cardiff.
So what makes him super? Because he's just a normal tarantula that's either been bit by some radioactive asbestos or bit by another tarantula to make him super tarantula. Like I don't know how it works.
I think he was a pretty good tarantula in the first place, but then he left his skin behind and it was found in an attic in Cardiff among some asbestos. So they fear that he's not only going to poison you, he's also going to give you slow carcinogenic problems from the asbestos as well.
Hey, what, do you know
Almost sounds like one. Go on, Gary.
Whilst we're on this subject, I've always wondered, because Spider-Man got bit by a radioactive spider, what would reckon would happen if he got bit by a radioactive man? Would he just be then a normal man, or would he be Spider-Man man and grow another willy?
Like a rude Russian doll, maybe.
We'd have to ask Stan Lee now, wouldn't we? But Stan Lee sadly passed, so I think that's going to be locked in the annals of time. Stefan Pedgic, what do you think?
It almost sounds like one of those like make or break a marriage questions on like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire type of a show. Like Daniel, Betty, for £8 million, what am I most afraid of in my attic? A spider asbestos. Yeah, it's a weird one. That and this is true. Yeah, these are true stories, or just.
Well, this is what we're trying to work out.
Is it a true story? That's the question.
I was trying to do a subtle bit of Darren Brown, but it didn't work, did it? Let's be honest, nothing works these days. Not even my guy.
I think I'm going to go on science with this, and I think that considering asbestos is poisonous, I don't think it's actually possible to be powered by asbestos. Like surely if you ate some asbestos, you wouldn't be going round like this with big muscle. That's the best I've ever felt. You'd be violently sick into a bin, wouldn't you?
Maybe it turns into a radioactive Anne Frank and just start writing diaries in a really, really cool way. Just like the Revenger. That's what it could be. I'm going to go with Steph, Pedgic. Do you want to go fake in this? No, I think it's real, mate. I think that's real. All right, let's go true then. True.
It is true. It's a true story. You pointed out, Simon, that the headline didn't really make scientific sense. It's Wales Online, remember. Just sort of take that forward with everyone.
That is true.
Two for Chris, Stefan, and Eleanor. Public bridge in Merthyr Villa closed due to most of it being stolen.
It feels true, doesn't it?
I mean, how can you? That I really like the idea of them going, sorry guys, I'm afraid if you're going to treat things like this, you just can't have nice things. We're going to have to close the bridge.
This is why we can't have bridges.
I mean, close away. It's already been nicked. We can't get across it anyway. Feels like they're closing the stable door after the horse has bolted on this one. Or
what are we thinking? Our quiz power couple.
I think this is actually true. I vaguely remember this happening at least somewhere, if not Merthyr, and it feels like
someone kept bits of the bridge until it had to close.
This happened somewhere.
It depends which bit they've nicked, right? Because if you nick like the handrails, that makes the bridge pretty precarious. But if you nick the bits in between the handrails, then it's even more precarious.
So you're saying it's sort of like a scrap metal game of Jenga?
Yeah. I mean,
so what are we thinking, Chris? I
think I'm a bit distracted because I'm very aware that I've got to kind of asbestos spider-proof my home at some point after this. But I think it's true. You guys think it's true? Yeah, we'll go with true.
I'm so sure I've actually heard the story somewhere.
Well, Eleanor did very well last week, so I'm going to go with her.
It is true, yes, it is. The new bridge opened in Pendrabach in Merthyr. It was closed because people stole too much of it. Okay,
Really?
third story for Simon and Stefan. Welshman reaches the last 16 of China's Got Talent.
I mean, regardless of if it's true, regardless if it's true. Regardless if it's true or not, it certainly wouldn't happen now, would it? You wouldn't, like, during lockdown, you wouldn't have a wife really happy because his husband's gone on China's Got Talent with a dog that can do landscape gardening. Do you know what I mean? I won't be having it.
I don't know, mate. Us Welsh, we get everywhere, don't we? I got a friend, Pugh, Daniel Pugh. He gets everywhere. Him and his friend Rusty. They wandered onto the set of Star Wars once. This is a true story, and you can actually hear him calling him. Pew's gone missing. You can hear him calling him in the back, going, Pew, 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 Pew. What are you expecting? Is it for free? What are you expecting?
That's a great joke.
I was duped by that for the first 6 or 7 seconds there. I was mildly impressed.
I'm gonna go. I do like the idea of a dog putting a shed up whilst like a proud wife is at home, but I'm gonna go false. Pedgic, you with me?
Yeah, I think it's false.
It's true.
Oh,
Steve, something I should have written his name down, got to this last 16 of China's Got Talent in 2012. What he was doing, I have absolutely no idea, but I know that he did get to the last 16. Okay, our final story from this round for Chris, Stefan, and Eleanor. Hundreds in Rubina mourn as 22-stone sheep Nick Boying passes away.
Nick Boying.
Nick Boying, yes, that is the sheep's name. Nick Boying, like the sound you make on a pogo stick.
Right. So many issues with this. One, sheep don't have surname.
Oh no,
Steph, you'd call him, John Wool. Nick Boying.
Sorry, Steph, do you not know Nick Boying of the Cheshire Boyings? His sheepy grandfather used to go to the same gentleman's club as my granddad.
These are the Rubina boys, not the Chester Boying, or wherever you're talking about.
I also have a point of clarification from Drew. Is 22 stone particularly heavy for a sheep?
Yes.
I don't know. Sheep are pretty strong and robust, but 22 stone is big. That's like a really big rugby player. So I don't know. It's pretty big for a sheep.
It's about 2 of me, but I thought sheep were quite big.
I mean, sheep are not as big as you would think. Are you thinking of cows?
I'm thinking of cows, yeah. What I've done now.
The milky sheep.
All right. I've been to Rubina. I believe in Nick Boying.
I want to believe in Nick Boying.
Hundreds of people mourning. Is this a recent story? Because does this mean they're sort of mourning, but also maintaining social distance?
I mean, it's Wales Online. It does not need to be a recent story.
Oh, okay. Because
I did dig pretty deep for these stories, whether they're true or false.
I wonder if there's like a group
It's
mourn.
not every day someone feels the bridge. Sometimes you've got to talk about a dead sheep.
It would be nice if they were doing some sort of group mourn over sort of Google Hangouts or something. If they're having like a big group, if they're having a big Zoom for Boying, would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And he's been stuffed, and he just takes up all of the spare room now. There's no room for anything else in there. So, Chris, what are we thinking? Is it an interesting story, but is it a true story?
I don't know. I think I should defer to Eleanor really, because I'm happy for her to be team captain. Because as a straight white man, I'm convinced at some point in the future I'm going to be promoted above my abilities anyway. So for now,
No, story of your life. I don't know. I believe in Nick Boying.
I believe in Nick Boying.
Okay.
And last time I trumped you and you went false and we were wrong, so I think I trust your instinct.
Oh, this is putting a lot of pressure on my ability to answer bullshit questions. Okay. Yes. Okay. I would say this is true.
It's true.
Ah.
Never is anybody more happy to see a dead sheep. That's fantastic. So, the scores after round 4 are Stefan and Simon with 6 points, Chris, Eleanor, and Stefan with 8 points.
We'll get it. Don't worry about it.
We can do it.
We can do it.
Okay, moving on to our final round, Almost the Sound of Music, featuring friends of the show, Sheep and Mash. I quite like the idea of changing it to a changing challenge they suggested last week. But same format as last week, Sheep and Mash are going to play us a couple of TV theme tunes, but it'll be the tune of one song mixed in with the lyrics of another. There'll be a visual clue to help you out. You try and guess what the song is. For the scoring, it'll be 2 points if you get the theme tune correct, 3 points if you get the lyrics correct, 5 in total. Okay, can we please welcome our first question from the fantastic Sheep and Mash?
Okay, stop the soundboard. Martin, stop the soundboard. Stop the soundboard. Put it down. That's right. I'll introduce the soundboard if you don't mind.
Yeah, just making sure I got it.
Okay, I will introduce. I'll tell you when to come in. Just put it down, out of frame. Yes, thank you, Drew. We are Sheep and Mash back again with the music round of Forza Crowd, which is called Almost the Sound of Music, which we still don't like. Martin, we've got a soundboard this week, isn't that right, Martin?
Yeah, that is right, Mark. It's a board of all different sounds. So they call it a soundboard.
Yeah.
I've got applause for when we need some clapping.
Yeah.
I've got for when something sad happens. Hopefully I don't have to press that. I got a sound for the winners.
No, can't play that. It's copyrighted. La 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 la. Can't play it. Thank you.
All right. And then I've also got a sound for the losers.
Can't play that either. It's copyrighted music. Copyrighted music. Turn it off. Turn it off. No more copyrighted music.
It's jammed.
Oh,
I turned it off.
Just forget it. Okay. Scrap the soundboard. Let's just get on.
$4.99 that app was.
Forget about it. For those of you who were here last week, the first week of Forza Crowd, here's the rules very quick to this round. Basically, we have taken 2 popular TV themes, the lyrics from one and the tune of the other, and we've smashed them together into a new TV theme. And what the teams have to do is tell us what the lyrics are from. We don't really care about the theme tune. The lyrics are the important part.
Yeah.
And there's also a visual clue. Martin, do you want to explain the visual clue?
Yeah. So it's quite simple. There will be a picture in the background, which doesn't necessarily immediately relate to either of the themes that we are singing, but with a little bit of decrypting, with a little bit of thinking, you might be able to decipher what we're trying to get at. Does that make sense, Mark?
Yes, some big words there. It definitely makes sense. There's a picture, which is a clue. Yeah. And that will be accompanying the tune. So let's get on with it. This first theme tune is for team number 1. And whoever you are, Drew, you can decide that. And you have to tell us, remember, where the lyrics are from, what the theme tune is for the lyrics.
Simon and Stefan.
Theme tune number 1. Okay.
Simon and Stefan. Oh, it stopped.
Oh.
There we go.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you have got.
Ooh.
Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name.
Oh, I
Okay.
have an inkling.
Okay.
Like it. Keep yourselves and have a think. So, was the image related to the song? The theme tune is worth 2 points. The lyrics are worth 3 points. Was the picture any clue? Was there have any help? Keep it amongst yourselves for now, and we move on to question 2. Question 2 from Sheep and Mash.
I mean, this was going to happen at some point, going live, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Here it comes, question 2 for Stefan and
let's get straight on to
Chris.
team tune number 2. This is for team 2. Remember, tell us the lyrics, where the lyrics are from, what team tune. Team tune number 2.
You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now.
No,
You're not the boss of
Yeah.
me now. You're not the boss of me now, and you're not so big. Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat the question? Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat the question? is unfair.
Okay, thank you very much, Sheep and Mash. So we've had both questions. Stefan, Eleanor, and Chris, hold yours for now. Simon and Stefan, what are we thinking for question 1?
This is why I brought you in, Steph. I thought you'd be good at this round. You know, you've got a photographic memory, haven't you?
So naturally, yeah, the photograph I saw was Scrubs, so I assumed Scrubs first of all, but then the lyrics made me think of like something 1970s, like a Minder type program.
Okay.
But have you got any ideas, Si, before we lock one in? Or do it?
No.
Okay.
No.
What about the theme tune? What was the theme tune? Did you recognize the theme tune at all?
Oh, I did, and I can't remember what it was.
Oh, there we are.
Dad's Army.
I know what you mean. I'm sorry.
Thank you for
This is
that.
very confusing for me.
I didn't know Phone a Friend was a feature of this show. Apparently it is. Thank you very much.
So yeah, the music was Dad's Army, of course.
The music was Dad's Army.
So Dad's Army was the theme tune, perhaps. And what are we thinking for the lyrics?
Well, we don't get a point for the actual music, so if anyone knows what the lyrics were, they can let us know as well. That'd be fantastic.
The last line.
Said no, so I think we do 2 for the music, 3 for the lyrics.
Okay.
I know what the lyrics are.
Yeah, the last line gave it away for me, Chris. I think it was the same for you as well. I can see a little.
What was the last? The last line was going somewhere when everyone knows my name.
Everybody knows your name, yeah. But everybody knows your name.
Any guesses, Steph?
Well, Cheers or something like that. I don't watch much.
Okay, so we're going to go with Cheers.
Yeah, okay, let's do that.
Okay, Stefan, Chris, and Eleanor, what are we thinking for your question? Question 2?
Yeah. Well, in the interest of fair play, any chance we can, I don't know, just have someone tell us the answer to the music?
What about the visual? Andrew Burns, this time he reckons it's crying face. So, Danny French, tell us the crying face. Stefan,
I
thank you, Andrew Burns, for that. That's great. He's telling us all the answers. If you don't win this week, get Andrew on. He's going to be a great teammate. Stefan, what do you think of the image for question 2?
I know what it is. I can talk us through it.
Go on, Chris, talk us through it quickly before Andrew does.
It was a photo of a guy in a suit.
Yes.
A suit is something that you wear to court.
Okay.
If you're romancing someone, you can be said to be courting.
Right.
And if you're courting someone, but then there's another person involved that you don't really want to be involved, you could be stuck in the middle of something like that song Stuck with You. It brings us, of course, to the TV show Malcolm in the Middle.
Can I have a stab?
Chris,
I got this completely wrong.
Chris,
I followed all the logic.
Chris, that was the most elaborate answer you could have possibly given, and you went completely in the wrong direction, but still managed to get it right. The man in the picture was
Malcolm
in the Middle. Malcolm X, yeah. Nothing to do with suits and court, but absolutely fantastic, and you managed to get to it. Okay,
I have to say I don't remember him from the show, but okay.
I'll be honest. Can I tell you what happened just now? Can I be a rebel and tell you what happened?
Yes.
I was still in my head trying to answer the first question. I didn't realise we'd gone on to the second one.
Oh,
Malcolm in the Middle. I knew it. I thought Simon knew it. He didn't know it. He's a liar. Kick him off.
I knew what the music was as well.
Yeah.
As Cat Dog, I think.
Oh yeah, it was.
Right. I think it's time to find out. So we've got from Stefan and Simon, Dad's Army and Cheers, and from Stefan, Chris and Eleanor, we've got Malcolm in the Middle and Cat Dog. Let's find out if they're the correct answers.
I think we've got this.
So how do you think you got on, teams? Did you think you got them right? Or Martin, what about you? Did you get there?
I knew the answers. I was part of it.
You were part of it. Anyway, let's go on with the answers to both those. So theme tune number 1, which was for team number 1, the lyrics were from the theme tune Cheers, and the tune was from Dad's Army. And explain the visual clue there, Martin.
Well, you might be asking, Martin, why did you put a picture up of some nurses for a sitcom set in a bar in Boston? Well, it's quite simple, really, folks. I don't know if your street has been doing it, but my street has been clapping every Thursday for the nurses. Cheering. Cheers for the NHS. So there we go. If you said cheers, then you got a point. And if you didn't say cheers, you lose 50 points.
Maybe you lose 50 points. Probably no. You probably just don't get a point. But anyway, let's get on to the second theme tune, which was for team number 2. Well, the lyrics were from the show Malcolm in the Middle. and the tune was from the Nickelodeon show Cat Dog. Brilliant.
Yes.
Well done.
Explain the visual clue there, Martin.
Well, this one was even more simple. If you didn't get this, you are a moron. It was a picture of Malcolm X in the middle of two of his chums. So it's Malcolm in the middle.
Malcolm X, obviously the famous black rights activist. So if you said Malcolm in the middle, you got a point, and if you didn't, then you didn't get a point. So there we go. There's our contribution to this week's Forza Crowd. See you again next week. Any final words or anything, Martin, or just?
We're back next week as well.
I don't know. Maybe if they'll have us.
I meant to be on furlough.
Yeah, I don't work. So we
I'll put
self-employed.
myself on it.
Under our okay, we need to talk about that. But anyway, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you very much, Sheetal Marsh. So, after those rounds, both teams scored a fantastic 5 points. Well done.
Yay.
Chris, thank you for adding the tune as well. Chris, I was impressed with the cat dog. I couldn't get a cat dog. I was impressed. That was the cartoon where the animal was the front end of a cat and the front end of a dog, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly that.
It was
all of the time.
Did that inspire your sort of pet choices, Chris?
Yes. Let's go with yes. I haven't got round
to cut in half and sew them together, or
no, I haven't got round to it, and it's very difficult to get the tools under social distancing and lockdown.
Well, B&Q is opening next week, I've been told, so we'll watch this space. Okay, so that's the end of round 5, and we are at the end of the quiz. So our final scores this week are Simon and Chris with 11, and the winner with 12 is Andrew, the audience member. Well done.
Go on, Andy.
It's not Andrew, of course, it is Chris.
Oh,
well done,
close.
Chris.
Well done,
So,
guys.
as we said at the top of the show, that means our losing team loses their guest, Stefan. Sorry, it's been an absolute pleasure you joined us on the show, but we have to say goodbye. It has been a laugh. Bye-bye, Stefan. Bye-bye.
I'm still here.
Your eyes gone. If you stay here longer, I was asking him to duck down slowly, so like if he's going down in a lift. Chris, returning champion 2 weeks in a row, captain of the champion of the team. Well, how are you feeling?
I'm just glad I don't have to find someone else to do it next week.
That's down on the admin, doesn't it? Simon, that's 2 weeks in a bounce now. You've lost, mate. How are we going to come back from this? What's the way forward?
Look, mate, I'm showing improvement, and that's the main thing. I was on minus points last time. We were 1 point off this time. And next week, my guest is Elon Musk, so we're almost certainly going to
win. I'd look into this, maybe tapping Andrew up as your guest. He's a bit of a quiz master. So it's been a pleasure as always. Thank you very much to anyone watching at home. This has been super. Andrew Burns, he's back again. Thank you, Andrew. Joined a game next. There we go. They're threatening and menacing, Andrew, but there we are. It's not a problem.
Can I just say as well, mate, very quickly, my little sister keeps posting laughing faces, so I just want to say hello to April. She watches everything I do, so there she is. Look.
So thank you very much for joining in with us on Forza Crowd. Thank you to our sort of phone-in guests, Sheep and Marsh. Big thanks to Joke Pit. Thank you to our team captains, Chris Choppin and Simon Manuel. Our winning team guests, Stefan and Elena, and our losers, Stefan Pejic. We'll see you next time. But till then, keep safe, keep clapping for the NHS, and stay 2 meters apart. Bye.
Bye.